Everybody, it's 9:30, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Before I introduce our speaker today, I'd like to just go over a few housekeeping procedures as normal. Firstly, we are recording this webinar today, so if you need to refer back to it or need to share it with a colleague who could not join us this morning, it will be up on our YouTube channel later this week. If everyone can remain on mute while Chris is speaking, that would be great, so there isn't any interruption to the presentation. There's a button I'd like you all to avoid hitting at the bottom of your screen. It's a rectangle with an up arrow. Please do not click that, as that will share your screen and interrupt Chris's presentation. If you have any questions, please put those into the chat and we will prompt Chris as needed. If there are any technical issues, you can put those into the chat too, and I will do my best to help you through those. Just be aware that most of the time those issues stem from your own Wi-Fi or internet connections. And finally, if anyone has dialed in via telephone today, please send me an email at mfrey@pgahq.com so we make sure you get your PDR credits for this morning. So with that, I'd like to introduce our speaker. Chris is a business coach for golf coaches and a trusted advisor to PGA organizations. He's helped golf coaches at every level go from struggling to joining the top percentage of the highest earners in the industry. He's the founder of Golf Coach Accelerator, author of Show Lower Scores, and the creator of the Head Coach Method, a system that shows coaches how to earn more, work less, play more golf without relying on group programs or social media. Our friend Nick Biondi here, a PGA member in our section, turned us on to Chris, and he's worked with Chris quite a bit and spoken very highly of him. So with that, I'll turn that over to our presenter today, Chris. Thank you for joining us.
And just really quick, guys, before Chris gets started, I wanted to say, just talk quickly on like the genesis of our relationship. So basically, I was trying to figure out, I had a problem of I wanted to work a little bit less and make more money. I met Chris through Dr. Rick Sessenhaus, who works with Colin Morikawa out there on the PGA Tour and a bunch of other guys on the PGA Tour. And so in talking with Chris, he has this amazing method to basically help us do just that. So work a little less, make a little more, better home life balance. He's helped me exponentially, and he definitely is a wizard at this. So he's going to say some outlandish stuff, I think, that when I first heard it was like, this makes no sense. I would never want to do this. But when he talks about the assessments and the head coach method and teaching people not just how to swing it really well, but also how to shoot lower scores is a really important piece. So Chris, good to see you, my man, and show them what we do.
Well, thanks for having me, everybody. And so for context, I'm in the north of Sweden. So if I say weird words sometimes, it's because it's my second language. So I hope you bear with me. So I'll see if the tech works now. We tried this before. This should work. So let's hope it works. Give me a thumbs up if you can see my presentation screen now.
Looks good.
There we go. Perfect. So thanks for the wonderful introduction. Pressure is on, I guess, to say the least. I'll do my best. So just for context, the only thing I want to do is help. So you can take from this what you want. Any questions you may have, there's no question off the table. So please write it in the chat, and we'll have I'll try to keep this to 45 minutes or so. But ask any question you want along the way, and we'll have like 15 minutes at the end for like proper Q&A sessions. So you can come on the call and ask questions for whatever you want, and to me to try to help you. Sound good? A roaring yes. So my goal for today is to help you make 50% more money with your current coaching skills tomorrow. That's the goal. And the frame for today, just for context, is I will talk to you as if my life depended on you making 50% more money fast. I will ask you to keep an open mind. And I will only tell you things that have proven to work. I'm not guessing here. I have like testimonials of coaches that have done this. So that it's all from a state of proof. And again, like write your questions as we go along. So there's 5 things for today. The first is this business as a sport. Overview what's possible for all of you. How you can make more money tomorrow, which is sort of the promise here today. What's good next step could be for all of you. And then again, a Q&A to solve your problems. So in my world, words mean nothing. proof means everything. So I thought I'd provide you with some. You may recognize the guy at the top. So as Nick said, we started working together. When was it, Nick? A year ago? Is it a year ago now? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, right around a year. Yeah.
So today, most of you may not know this, Nick being a little bit too humble for his own good, maybe. Like, he's made more money in 6 months than he made in the previous 12 combined. And now rarely work weekends anymore, which is unheard of, but really cool. And sort of credit to his amazing ability to be coachable and doing the work. Really proud of you, buddy. The second part is Howard. He wanted to fix the problem of I'm sick and tired of, to quote him, I'm sick and tired of starting January 1 with 0 in my bank account, having to sort of semi-start over every year. So we taught him how to fix this. In his first 3 months, he has added on $7,000 and counting on monthly shoot lower scores on course coaching programs. So he basically plays golf now more than less for a living, which is cool. And then Julia, for example, she's just barely graduated the PGA program, struggled a lot with work-life balance and having like a career ladder to climb. It was like most of you know, it's nights and weekends, it's all summer long. And especially here in Sweden, we only have golf for 6 months out of the year if we're lucky. It snowed yesterday, so season over. So after 6 months, we fixed that for her. So now she has a work-life balance and she can work less. She takes, I think, 4 to 5 weeks vacations every summer in a season where you only have 6 months to coach. And she can do that because of the money she's making and the way she's making her money. So a bit of backstory, just for context. So I grew up in the north of Sweden where I still live. I played golf when I was a kid. I was about 11 handicap or so at the time. And then, school and life and girls and stuff happened. So I didn't play golf anymore. So my main profession has been coaching massive sales teams. And last real job I had, I ran one of the most profitable department stores in Europe with a bunch of my friends. So I started playing golf again and got so hooked, like most of you do. And I'm telling you this story because this is the main customer you all could get and that we taught Nick to get. So that's why the context of the story. So I started playing golf again, got super hooked, and I saw an email from the Open that said if you had a 1.4 handicap or better and $100 in your pocket, you could enter to play Open qualifying and be 3 rounds away from the Open. And that was, for me, the 30-year-old male, that was the coolest thing I've heard in my entire life. So me not knowing any better, I've taken a bunch of business coaching in my life, but never taken golf coaching. I just assumed it was the same. So I went to my golf coach at the local club and said, hey, my name is Chris. I'm an 11 handicap. I want to buy a scratch handicap from you. I have 3 years to do this. I can only do this on Saturdays because I have a family and work. So where do I pay? And he looked at me like I was a complete moron, which is fine. He was one of my friends. So he's like, that's not how this works, dude. I'm like, okay, what can we do then? Well, he's like, here's the 10 lesson package. We start working on your swing and we'll see how good you can become. I'm like, great. Will that take me to scratch though? Do you have a plan to get me there once we've done the 10 lessons? And he was very open and honest. He's like, no. I'm like, okay, thank you for saying, but that's not good enough for me because I want the big goal, dude. So I went to the best coach in Sweden. They couldn't help me. I went to the best coach in the world and they all said the same thing. We can fix your swing, but we can't fix your score. And I was like, what's going on? I'm waving my credit card, making a fair living at the time. Like, I'm willing to pay for myself. Just help me. Because in my opinion then, and it's even more in my opinion now, like getting better at golf is shooting lower scores on the golf course for the vast majority of people. Everything else we're doing is a function of getting there. You can disagree and agree, that's okay. But if you follow the money and for the success of people, that's the truth of it, at least what my experience is. But I heard like Tiger Woods' words somewhere that golf was 80% between the years. So I thought, well, I can do that. So I carried my son around, my newly born. I listened to all the scoring education that was available online. And I played golf once a week, TrackMan in the winter, outdoor in the summer. And in 3 years, just learning that, I went from 11 handicap to a 1. I broke par. I won my club championship. And then the Open changed the rules. So it went from a 1.4 to a 0 flat, which is, this as coaches, it's an enormous leap for a person who doesn't practice. So that dream had to die, at least for now. But I was trading the stock market at the time, and I was so curious because I talked to a bunch of golf coaches as I tried to do this adventure of sorts, and everyone said the same thing to me. Like, I don't make enough money. I don't play any golf anymore. I don't have really a career ladder to climb. And if I want to make more money, it's more weekends, it's more nights, which is not feasible for me to do if I want to have a normal life. And for me, outside of golf coaching, that was shocking. Because I was like, you golf coaches must have the coolest life in the world. You must make a ton of money because you have the richest clients in the world. The middle-aged male business person who loves golf more than anything in the world. But that wasn't the case. So I thought, oh, okay, maybe I can help out here. So I created a business plan for a few coaches back home. And my assumption was like, why isn't everybody doing this? So I went to the PGA program here in Sweden to try to learn. And it became quickly apparent that the PGA is fantastic at most things. However, there's not been a priority for the business side of golf coaching. How do you, as the PGA professional, make twice as much money in a couple of years as you're doing now without working more? So I'm like, I get it, but I think I can help. So I started coaching a few people here in Sweden, and they, after 6 months, became one of the most profitable coaches in Europe. And that's how Dr. Rick Sessinghaus found me. So I started coaching his coaches, and one of those were Nick. And then my coaches were making so much money, I ventured out on my own. So today, I help golf coaches just like Nick and you to make more money and create more time freedom and help golfers shoot lower scores. I do that through the Golf Coach Accelerator, the book Shoot Lower Scores, and I help the PGA sections around the world that want my help to do presentations like this and to help them internally to educate all of you how you can make more money and create a better life for yourself without fancy tech, without social media, without group programs, just the in-person business, so you can have the life that Nick has, which is my goal for all of you, like how you can make a lot more money and work less. I hope that makes sense. So into you then. So this may ring true for most of you. Like golf used to be your sport, right? Then coaching became your sport. But to get better, have a better result financially in your life, business needs to be your sport. And it works just the same. It's the matter of what you focus on, how to get better. Because if you look at this like a funnel, right? The top, I help a bunch of Hall of Fame coaches too, and a PGA Tour coaches and all that stuff. So I have a fair context around the world. So the most coaches try to get better by improving their skill set in coaching. So they get really wide at the top. I would know so many different coaching avenues. I have so much depth of skill. However, the prioritization of, good English word, the prioritization of business skills is very low, usually. Hence, you have a low revenue. You work on the lesson tee a lot. You work a lot of nights and weekends and don't want to. So how come some coaches win more in business then? Well, if you take a look at a few of my coaches, a few of them have just graduated the PGA program. So they're, from a coaching sense, their depth of knowledge in coaching is very narrow. They are just brand new to this. But their skill sets in business, thanks to what we do, have gotten really high. So the results they're having for their life is they're making a ton of money. They have a lot more free time than most, and they're playing a lot of golf. So I don't know where you are today in this sort of funnel example, but I would just venture and ask to you, like, if you're trying to solve a problem, make sure that solution to your problem actually solves it. Maybe more coaching skills isn't the way. Maybe this fancy new tech isn't the way. If you're trying to solve a money problem, then try to solve those with money skills is a good idea. If you want to solve a coaching problem, then it's coaching skills. I hope that makes sense. So if you want to make more money, this is what I would teach you. You need to start with the end goal in mind. Because if you don't know where you're going, it's impossible for you to make any metrics. Say, am I going in the right direction or not? And I approach coaches like Nick and everybody else in 3 areas. It's money, it's time, and it's quality of life. So people always told me growing up in business, like, you need a 5-year plan, you need a 10-year plan. I could never make that work. And today I hate that shit because it makes no sense. I don't know who I am in a year. But what makes sense is knowing what the dream life would look like. How much money do I want to make? How much time do I want to have? What do I want to do? Because then it's easy for me to look backwards. Okay, so I'm over here now. I want to be here. I'm over here. What needs to happen in between? Then make an action plan from that. And the first thing to sort of reference to yourself is what's not working? And stop doing those things. I hope that makes sense. Because the way to look at it from your position now is what I'm doing now will that more than likely get me to the goal I have for time, money, and quality of life? And if the answer is no, then something's got to give. And the thirdly, don't just collect certifications. You need skills to be able to apply to your life and business too. So for money purposes, I teach my coach to become financially free. Step 1 is financial freedom. Step 2 is being rich. Step 1, everybody can do. And it's looking at residual versus active income and expenses. So please chime in if I'm going too fast or if it's anything that's not clear. But if all of you were to stop working November last, in the end of December, 75% of your bills will still come, yeah? People nodding. Yeah. Which means that your bills are residual. They come whether you want to or not, you know? The only thing you can count on in life is taxes and death, I guess. But that's residual. But your income is active. In most cases around the world, it's 95% of your money you're making is active. So you show up to the S&T, someone has paid something, that's how you make your money, right? So what happens if you can't work as much as you want to, but your expenses are high? Well, now it's pretty easy to get in a hole. The way to fix this is to balance those things out. How can I make sure, like we helped Howard with, how can I make sure that my income is more stable? How can I make sure that the balance of my residual costs and my residual income evens out? The one thing that doesn't exist is passive income. That's a person trying to lie and sell you shit. But there's always some sort of work involved. But level 1 that all of you could do is to match the expenses with your income, so you have an easier way to get there. So there's an easy calculation that you can make, and you can screenshot this. There will be a recording. I just want to get a feel for how to actually do this. So how many days, because I'm a very simple person, I need to be spoken to like a 5-year-old so I understand. So if I speak in that way to you, it's not on purpose. It's just so if I can say the words I understand, hopefully you do too. So a math equation to do for your life, regardless of if you're employed or if you run your own business, it's how many days of work does your life cost you per month? Because that's the metric. So you have your total cost for a month, which is about the same if you average it out. And then you have the total net income after tax per month, regardless if you run your own business. Revenue doesn't matter. Profits do, like what you actually take home does. And the days you work. So if you make that math equation, you'll get a number. Do I have to work 10 days a month to pay for my life? Do I have to work 15? Is it 20? And the goal to get financially free is, yes, you can make more money, but it's to equal out the payment for the costs. That's the video game, which is how to win in business. What Nick and I talk a lot about is yes, take this seriously, but it's not that serious. Like the reasons why the younger generation coming into like the business world and the work market they're more millionaires that are younger now than ever before because they're from the video game era. They know they won't die. So I might as well go for it. What's the worst that can happen? Well, I'll get my ego bruised and I have to start over. Well, that's fine. I'll take that bet. And the same for you. It's about looking at business as what's the next level I can achieve, just like in coaching. That's 1. 2, how to win in business is you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, the 5 people you compare yourself to, and the 5 people you look up to. That's your influence of sorts. So for context to this, if you're all in on biomechanics, and all you talk about is biomechanics, and all your friends are biomechanics lovers of sorts, and you're trying to fix a marketing problem, asking these people probably not the best idea because they don't have any proof that they know what to do. Probably wonderful, fantastic people, but experience and skills are not the same. So when you're looking to solve a problem, always try to talk to experts. Outside of your normal sphere is usually the best way to go. So the business of golf coaching is you get, well, in business in general, but you specifically, is you get paid for solving problems. And you get paid in accordance with the size of problem that you solve. If you solve small problems, like swing on a range, it's very difficult to build a sustaining business. If you solve score, however, which is a bigger problem, well, that's worth more for a person to pay for. And the trick to this is to be able to solve rich people problems too, because they just pay better and are just like a tour player in Ambition. They're just wired like that. Nick can probably attest. Like the rich middle-aged man who loves to shoot lower scores, they work harder than tour players do because they're obsessed as a person, you know? They're pretty easy to coach. So the comparison I would make to all of you to try to make this sort of tangible is look at yourself in comparison to a personal trainer at the gym. The gym personal trainer doesn't sell a 10-lesson package of how to do the bench press properly, right? They are asking how much weight you want to lose, how much muscle you want to gain. Well, I want to lose 20 pounds. Perfect. I'm now selling you a package in accordance to losing 20 pounds. That package will include bench press exercises, just like your packages have to include swinging technique. But that's not worth paying a lot for. The results are, however. The trick is to be able to offer both solutions, because there's only two types of clients on average. It's the I want to hit the ball better people, and then the I want to shoot lower scores people. And the I want to shoot lower scores people are the minority. But they spend more money in golf and on golf than the I want to hit the ball better people do combined, by a lot. And the reason they aren't giving the money to you, which they should, to get better, is you haven't given them a real clear reason to, unless you're selling score. I hope that makes sense. So in my opinion, golf is three things. And in this order, it's swinging technique, it's equipment, and how to shoot lower scores. Swinging technique, if you can't hit the ball, then golf sucks, right? We need to be able to hit the ball some way, right? If you don't have equipment, then golf is impossible. And equipment is pretty much cheat code to getting better faster. But thirdly, it's how to shoot lower scores. And for business, it's a matter of fixing the easiest thing that will make the biggest impact on the client today, so they get better tomorrow and now immediately loves you. And Nick, you can probably attest to this, from shifting from the swing and technique function we're fixing first thing to giving more score advice so they have a better experience from your coaching tomorrow, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, I think when I work with a client now, I'm working way more on the statistics of it. Like, hey, if you tee up on the left side, you aim the ball over here, you don't hit this club on this hole. It's much, much simpler. And I would definitely play more golf, which is nice. But yeah, for sure.
Good. Well, playing golf, we don't hate that.
No, I love that.
So the quote is sort of trying to fix a scoring problem with a swing solution is extremely difficult. That's what being a golf coach is is, in my opinion, the most difficult coaching job in the world, because everything can go wrong, right? But you need to know what problem we're trying to solve and how. So that leads into, are you a generalist or are you a specialist? If you're a generalist, like most golf coaches I talk to, you're both TPI certified, you're biomechanical certified, you're custom fitting certified, you're like super short game over here. It's very difficult to be really great at something and for the clients to know that you're really great at something, because they don't understand what the PGA means. They don't understand, they conflict that, with the tour. They just think, are you a golf coach? Can you help me? And if I were to give you advice today to make more money tomorrow, is to so identify yourself as, I help golfers shoot lower scores and hit the ball better. If you want my help, come to me. And the one thing golf coaches usually miss is one of the whole purpose of you teaching them is to give them hope that they can do it. Like, dude, you can do this. Like, I believe you can. You will have to take some coaching. You will have to do the work, but you can do this. And this is the result you can have on average reasonably if you're willing to do the work. And then you offer them to buy the solution from you. Any questions on that? No?
Nothing submitted yet.
I'm either the most confusing person in the world or it's crystal clear. I'm hoping it's the latter. Okay, so how much money can you make as a normal golf coach? This is the statistic that I have from my coaches. So we teach 4 levels of business. I will talk about level 1 today. But level 1, I don't care where you live. I have coaches in Thailand. I have coaches in Hawaii. I have coaches in Switzerland. Doesn't matter. It's the same everywhere. The average golf coach could make 150K a year just learning level 1 by doing that properly. Level 2 is you can then make 200 grand. Level 3, 250. And if you're so ambitious, you can make over 300K a year as a solo golf coach, almost regardless where in the world you live. And this is an extreme example, but I just want to prove again that's what's possible. Kango is a Japanese American who I met a year ago too. And in 10 months, he went from $5,000 a month in revenue to 30. And it's not guaranteed that I can help you do this, but I just want to show you that it's possible. And he started coaching a year ago. So if he can do this, you making 50% more money is very doable, regardless of where you are in your life. So the intended purpose of this is to give you hope. Any questions on that? No? Great. I'm taking this as a success. So, okay, so how can you make more money tomorrow? Which is level 1 of what we teach. And again, I don't mean to, Nick knows this. I'm a very frank person. So if I step on anyone's toes, I apologize in advance. But I just want you to have the help. Because I've interviewed thousands of golfers. So how this normally goes, you can push back if you think I'm wrong. But on average, the golfer books a lesson. The golfer shows up. You ask, what do you want to fix today? I want to fix my slice. Perfect. You give some advice, usually technical. The next person comes early, usually. So it becomes a bit awkward situation. You're trying to wrap up your lesson, trying to sell packages, book the next one. John is now hovering, looking at me in the back of my head, creating an awkward moment. The next lesson starts, and now admin piles up. Is this a sort of fair generalization, would you say? A few people nodding. That's good.
100%. That's where I started.
Well, yeah. So what golfers experience? Here come the toe stepping. They book a 36-minute lesson. What they think, right or wrong, is that I will play better tomorrow if I pay you money for lessons. The lesson is confusing because it's technical. A lot of these golfers are men, which we know as men. We don't ask questions when things we don't understand. We just nod along like a schmuck, not getting our money's worth because I don't have the ego. I have the ego that I can't ask for more help, right? So they get confused. A confused person never buys anything. You probably can relate. Like, I said all the right things. I did all the right things. He said he wanted it. I offered him and said, I'll think about it. Nodding heads too. Yeah. It's because they're confused. You, being a kind person wanting to help, have said too many words. They're overwhelmed by the things you've taught. They play bad tomorrow, and they blame you, and they don't come back. That's the average golfer taking a lesson. So again, fixing a scoring problem with a swing solution in the first go of it has very little to gain, a lot to lose. And the result for your life is this on average. The mentally tired from a lessons all day. Again, having like a 10-lesson day back-to-back is outrageous that you can do this. I'm so impressed that you have the stamina to do this. It's crazy because you're performing every hour on the hour, right? It's a new person. I need to be on point, need to be a good coach, need to help out. It's nights and weekends. It's underpaid, undervalued. Play a little golf. You do more group to make more money, which is more nights and weekends, and you're trapped in the bubble on the range. Can anybody relate? So the solution to this is to sell an assessment as the first thing that you do. Just like the doctor would. No assessment, no cure. Because if I don't know what the problem is, I can't give you pills, right? And your assessment is knowing the golfer's goals and dreams. Where are you now? Well, I'm an 18 handicap. Well, what would the goal be then? Well, I want to be a 9. Perfect. Now you know what they want and what they are looking for. So you sell them a coaching hour, which I'll teach in a bit, on how to do this. It works like clockwork. And Nick, you can probably attest to what you charge now for an assessment.
Yeah, I go pretty high price on an assessment, gets them in the door, knows that I'm serious, they're serious, and then we get them into a package plan at a cheaper price. But yeah, the assessment, this is the easiest thing to do, the absolute easiest thing to do. And when Chris starts talking about the time of lesson, I hated having people hovering. Like, they always come a little early. It's like, is it my time yet? So it's a very awkward moment. And that's for every single one of us. We've all done that. Back-to-back lessons. We've all been through that one. But the assessment, this is really just an easy thing. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. I'll teach you how to do it.
Yeah.
So this is what you say. The golfer comes to you, book a lesson, or maybe you have lessons tomorrow. Then you can do it tomorrow. You ask everyone the same thing. What's your current handicap and scoring average? Like, I want to book a slice lesson. No problem. May I just ask before we do, what's your current handicap and score average? Well, I'm an 18 handicap. Perfect. What would the goal score or goal handicap be? Well, I want to break 80. Perfect. Then I have a suggestion, John. Do you want to do the swing lesson? Or do you want to see how good of a golfer you can become? And you'll be surprised at how many say, well, what does that mean? Well, it's the same cost of a lesson to start. Then you can do the Nick Biondi version. But the cost of a lesson to start. But the whole point of this lesson is for me to assess your entire game. Is you play 3 holes in front of me, either on the range or in the sim if you have one, or the practice facility. You decide what works best for you, dear coach. They get to share their goals and dreams. You get to see how they play golf, and they can receive then a personal game plan, which you suggest they do to get from the 18 handicap to the 9. And they are ecstatic after this. Well, I haven't really coached them. No, that's the whole point. They're paying you to assess, talk to me, take an interest in me, give me a plan, either on my own to do it or with your help to do it. This works like you wouldn't believe. And in the community or the thing that we do, you can take a copy paste of this. I don't care, but just for reference, you have an assessment sheet, not on a computer, not iPad, not your phone. It takes away the relationship. It needs to be pen and paper that you can hand to them. Then take a picture of it. But it's the same thing we asked. But the whole point of the assessment is doing what's called a SWOT analysis. What's their strengths, what's their weakness, what's their opportunities, and what's their threats, and you having a written solution to get there. It could be as simple as, John, you want to go from an 18 handicap to a 9? Yes. You need 10 lessons. Okay. It's a cost $1,000. Okay. That's the plan. And you'll sell so much more just doing that, because it works in the order of the brain, you know? So now you've done the assessment part. You've asked their goals and dreams. You've assessed their game. And this can be done in your current lessons too, that you don't have to make an uproar to your business. But if you weave these questions into your current swing lessons or your current lessons, whatever, you'll be amazed of the results you'll get. So you come to the end of the lesson. You now need to make the offer. Golfers, just like me, just like you, we hate feeling sold to. No one likes that. But we love to buy things, though. Especially golfers, you know, it's the new gadget, it's the new gadget, it's the new thing that won't make me better, more confused, cost a bunch of money, but I'm jonesing for the stuff, you know. The second thing to understand is confusion kills sales and it kills learning for people. One of the main problems coaches come to me with is, how do I fix the transfer of knowledge? How do we get what's in here to them? And the main thing is you're confusing the heck out of these people by talking in language they have no idea how to relate to. Like into-out path may work fantastically for your brain, but for the average golfer, they had no clue what that means. Like front to back is probably easier. It's talking to people like they're 5 years old, even though they're the CEO of the world, right? That if they understand what you're offering, they will buy a lot more. And only offer things in 3, with the highest one first. I'll show you how. And then turn the lesson package into 9-hole playing assessments and 3-hole coaching sessions. I'll show you. So on the one side of the page is the options. It's a 10-lesson package, 5 and 3. The first thing I tell my coaches is, if you do a 30-minute lesson and 6-minute lesson, you need to chronically stop doing that right now. 50-minute lesson is the sweet spot for a bunch of reasons. One, if they're paying for 30 lessons, they can pay for an hour. It's not that big of a deal, which my coaches have proven. But if you take full hours, like Nick said, you'll have the loitering, lingering problem. So 50-minute lessons. So what you do is you sell it like this. So after the lesson, when it comes to the end of it, or the assessment, I think you can reach your goal, John. Do you want my help? And then say absolutely nothing until he speaks. The person that speaks first lost, right? Because if you speak first now, you confuse them again. They're thinking. If there's an awkward silence, there's an awkward silence. The best salespeople in the world are pausing for 8 seconds after they ask for a question. 8 seconds, that's long. So pause for a few. And then he says, how would that look? Well, I offer 3 options to start. 10 lesson, 5 lesson, 3 lesson. Which one fits you the best? Not if he wants to buy, because that's obvious. He wants to. I don't know why is he there? And then again, say nothing until the answer. And let's say he picks the middle one, because that's the average. Because if you have the cheapest package first, everything else will feel to the customer more expensive. So they tend to pick the cheaper ones. If you flip it and you have the expensive one at the top, everything else feels more affordable. So they tend to buy the middle package. So let's say they buy the middle one. Then you say, well, my suggestion is to take the first 3 50-minute lessons, and we do a 3-hour 9-hole coaching session, either on course, in the sim, around the practice area, which means you get 30 minutes for free, which will get you better way faster. Do you want to do that? And then be quiet. And then book it. Payment doesn't matter. You'll fix that later, but just get them on the calendar so when they leave, they have booked something. That's what will create a 50% increase in your revenue next year, no problem, if you do it. And the results of this is higher golfer IQ of your members. Your value will go immensely up because this 3-hour coaching sessions and the assessment will give you a possibility to show the golfer how much you know, because you know so much. They have no clue, though. You will sell way more packages. You will empty them out faster. You will have, like Nick now, has less clients a day, but for longer, who pay more, which is a really wonderful life to have. And they will shoot lower scores way faster. And here's some proof. A few of our coaches have clients that are on like 9-hole subscription coaching every month. George went from a 16 handicap to a 4 in 8 months. Joseph went from a 6 handicap to a plus handicap in 7. They did 30% swing on the range, 70% playing on the course. But because he offered it this way, he found them, you know? And they love him now more than ever before. Any questions?
Hey, Christopher, this is Anthony Melizzi. I have a question for you.
Go for it,
in
dude.
reference to selling packages.
Yeah.
So when you sell that package up front, on the back end, how do you account for it and how do you distribute it? Do you wait until the entire package is exhausted before you distribute? Do you distribute it up front and account for each lesson that's given? And then what happens with any outstanding lessons where, you know, someone still is owed a lesson for a year from now? How do you handle that side of the business?
Sure. That's a brilliant question. Thank you for asking. First question. Love that. So the way, by doing these steps and doing this way and selling packages like this, it's the golfers listen way more to your coaching, which is what you need to teach them, that most of them have taken a lesson or so before and it hasn't really worked. So when you're saying like the 5-lesson package, my suggestion is we first do this 2-hour chunk or 3-hour chunk. We take the 3 lessons, we just shove them together and we book them for Friday afternoon or Monday morning. During that experience, they will be more open to then upselling the package from there. Or when you book the next one, because they had such a sort of amazing time usually, because they haven't had this experience before, getting to know you a lot better, they will know that this is the better way to get coached. Which means that the next time we need to fix short game, Lisa. Perfect. You have 4 hours left of your package. Let's take 2 of these. And when can you do 2 hours in together? Well, I can do it on Tuesday. Perfect. We'll do it on Tuesday. That way the package just empties out a lot faster. And I don't really believe in packages going, what do you call it? Sour. Is that a good translation for it? Like at the end of the year, you have to clean your package out or your money's gone. I don't like that. Because it creates such bad will. People will hate you for it. And if they love you, they'll tell like 3 friends. If a person feels, even though you said the right things and you said there was a date to it and they just ignored it for reasons, so they feel cheated in some way, they'll tell like 20 people. And juice is not worth a squeeze. So the fix to do is from here on forward is, how do I empty out packages faster? How do I teach my membership this is how you take lessons? Well, it's telling them that what golf is 3 things: it's swing and technique, equipment, shoot lower scores. Like, doing the golf is very difficult, as you know. And then we can't get that far in an hour, but we'll get enormously far in 2. And look at these experiences that Lisa and Josh and Alan had. They said these things when they did this. So do you want to? Does that answer your question, Anthony?
Yeah, I think that's really helpful. One of the things that we run into is in our professional staff, historically, we had sold some lesson packages.
Mhm.
And then it was tracking, the accountability of the package, the accuracy of accounting for that. How do you track that? Do you have an app? Do you just keep a log on your phone? Or
I could jump in there because how I do it, I usually do it on a Google spreadsheet. So at the end of my day, I have less administrative stuff. So when I get finished up at 5:15, I take from like 5:15 to 5:30, 5:45, and I just empty it out. So like if I'm doing a gold package or tour player package, it's 0 of 22 to start. And then I just go in increments. So immediately upon meeting, it becomes 3 of 22. And then I go from there. But I take that 15 or 20 minutes at the end of the day in a spreadsheet, and I do it that way.
And
And
as you get, oh, sorry, Nick, go for it.
No, I was going to say, and I definitely have you're going to make mistakes because it's just administrative stuff. So it's not foolproof, but there's been times where I was like, okay, I forgot to count one, but it's all good in the grand scheme of it. They feel like they're getting more, so they're going to come back, and they love that.
Err on the side of goodwill.
Yeah.
Because I'll mention, for all of you, there's a lot of talk in the golf coaching space about, I need the social media this, and I need this and that. The definition to me of brand is what people say about you when you're not there. That's brand. You can boast about yourself how fantastic you are, but that shit doesn't matter. It's what Lisa says to Eric about you when you're not there. That's what matters, which means that when there's a hiccup of whatever, a lesson gets overbooked, or I thought I paid for 10, but I used 11 or whatever, you have goodwill to spare. And doing this coaching model of shoot lower scores and doing assessments and longer lessons chunked together, they're so happier and so more malleable than otherwise, because they get so much value from you and they get to know you a lot, which means they respect you more and will defend you when something goes wrong, usually. Cool. Any more questions before we go on? And then we have a Q&A in a few minutes, but go for it.
Christopher Scott Riley, Philadelphia
Hi.
Country. I had a quick question.
Go for it.
And maybe Nick can chime in. You said different costs for different fixes. So are you applying a different value for certain lessons?
No.
So you're on course, you're not saying, hey, because we were out there, that's going to be a higher price tag, or it's just, hey, my hour was my hour and what we cover is what we cover.
Yeah. So good question. So my point of saying those things, maybe I misspoke, but it's the opposite. It's what are people willing to pay for? And I'm willing to pay more for your hour, which is a big coaching problem. How do I raise my prices? Because it's difficult. Well, it's difficult to raise a swing coaching hour. Raising a shoot lower scores hour, not that difficult, because it's worth more. But the hours are priced the same. But by having them 50 minutes and chunking them together just makes you more money. So taking 3 hours and playing 9 holes will cost you the same as staying on the range, but they pay the green fee, if it's a green fee. You don't. Or you add it into the package, well, then they have to pay more, But the lesson is the same. The whole point of them is to be able to have that's why it's called the head coach method, because golfers are looking for you as their head coach to solve the problem, which is, how do I shoot lower scores in one way, shape, or form? Is it swing and technique, equipment, on just mentally how to do this, or scoring wise how to do this? Well, it depends on the person. And for them to willing to be like the average person buying a 10 lesson package more is for the transparency of this. Like, my goal is to get you to the goal. We'll use the lessons according to what you need and what I suggest. We can take lessons here, we can take lessons there. My goal is to fix it for you, so it's custom. Now they're willing to pay for it. Does that make sense, Scott?
It does, yeah. As a piggyback,
Go for it.
As a piggyback to that, and maybe Nick, you can chime in. Like, if you know you're starting to get towards the end of the year,
Yeah.
Are you actively soliciting to those people when you're looking at their sheet? That's kind of like, hey, I want to try to get you through this year. Like, I haven't seen you enough. And how much are you going into that process of being like, hey, I want to get you out here? And how does your book fill up that way when you know you're trying to get through all these packages?
Yeah, so I'm super lucky that I feel like the connections that I make with the students early, in that assessment, in that initial kind of assessment, they're so invested. Like, once you get them into after the assessment, they're like, I'm ready to go. It's very rare that I have someone that doesn't finish the package, or I have to run it longer throughout the season. I give them from 1 year of point of purchase. That's what it says. But if they usually will always finish the lesson package. It's very rare that I've got to hunt someone down or say, hey, I haven't seen you in a couple weeks. And what we've seen here at Radley Run is that they're actually utilizing the club more. On average, it's like if you take 5 to 7 lessons per season, you spend 20% more at a club across the board, industry standard. So they're utilizing the club so much, they're here so much that I don't really chase anyone. But yeah, I'm very lucky for that aspect. But I think the connection, the emotional connection that you make in that initial session, after the assessment, the 3 hour, the bigger chunk, is really important. And then as a side note, I know when we say like 3 hour assessment, people are like, oh, we're going to hit a ton of balls. It's too much for some people. I think it's actually like really nice because I do let more talking. Like, I can actually, and we enjoy the time together. We can talk about like what they like, what they've liked about other coaches, what I'm going to try and put into their programming for them. So it's actually, it's a nice chunk of time to spend with the 3 hours with someone. Of course, you should have some tools to be able to like, and it's kind of different for everyone, but I have so many tools in here that I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to evaluate their body first. And then I'm going to look at their equipment. I'm going to check their lofts and lies on their irons if you have got that type of tech or machinery at the club. So it makes it really simple for me.
That's just like 3 hours is level like 10. Like,
right.
Level 1 for all of you is taking the hour lesson you have, and like the assessment is for an hour. It's the same, and then you can upgrade as to get like Nick is at like hero level doing this. Like, it's a 3 hour assessment. It's all of this, but the first go of it is just doing 1 hour. But I'll give you a tactical advice, Scotty. So the winter is coming. Shout out Jon Snow. The what to do is sort of, if you like this idea of assessing, it gives you a way to do this seasonally. So when people have packages that haven't been emptied out, it gives you a reason to market to these people without feeling salesy. It's like, hey, John, winter is coming. Now is the season to do your biannual assessment and do a winter assessment and get a game plan for what you can do for the winter, either with my help or without my help. So when the golf course opens up next year, we can get you closer to the 9 handicap you wanted. So what time works for you to book an assessment? Not if, because he has lessons to spare. What time or what date? Because now there's a new fancy fun thing to do that I will care about. It's not just one more swing technique lesson, if that makes sense. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
No problem. Okay, so I have just a few more slides, and then we can have a just open discussion. So next step for you, if you want, again, what problem you're trying to solve. If you're solving a business problem, you want to make more money and have more free time and have just more fun in life, then, because I look at money like this, it makes a good person better and a bad person worse. We need more good people to make a ton of money because the world will be better. Like, and if you haven't made a lot of money before, then give it a go. You might like it. And if you don't like it, just give it away. Like, I don't care. But it's the fun skill, is a cool skill to have, you know? And, you know, you can't buy happiness, but try, maybe. The business, and then you become your new sport. Like, this is my sport. Golf used to be my sport. Now coaching is my sport. But in the future now, business is my sport. And then 2 is track the money. What's your expenses? How do they go out? What's my income? Where do they come from? How do I have a bunch of holes in my calendar. What if I chunked my lessons? Well, I could make twice as much money in the same day. Well, what do you know? And then number 3, which is invest in business skills like you would any certification. You don't have to have my help. You can take help from wherever you want, but just invest in people who are better than you. But make sure they have proof though, please. Pretty please. There's a lot of people just screaming on the internet that they're the best things in sliced bread, trying to sell you stuff. Like, do some research. That's why I have so much proof that we do, because I just want to talk from a position of honesty and that we actually are who we say we are. But if you look into a marketing person or whatever, like, do some research. Like, have the people they have helped, have they gotten the results that I want? And what's the proof they have? And then just try it out. Like, just try getting some business coaching from somebody and just see how you like and see what happens, Because for things to change, then things have to change, dude. Like, it has to do something different. If not, you will have the same life next year they had this year and the year beyond that, right? And learning the business side of golf coaching is so much simpler than everything you've learned up until this point. I promise. Like, becoming a swing instructor is probably the most difficult coaching job ever. And if you can do this, then you can learn the sport of business. I promise. So for the remainder 9 minutes or so, I have a few more if there's more questions. Tell me your problems. If I could solve a problem for some of you or reach a goal for your business, what would that be? You can either write in the chat or you can unmute. It's up to you. Have I been so clear? That's crazy.
I'm thinking there are those 8 seconds of silence.
Hey, Christopher, this is Anthony Malizia again. Thanks so much for carving out time to be with us this morning. It's been awesome. There's a lot of hype right now with AI. Are you integrating it into your teaching, your business? How are you using it or not using it?
So I'm shaking my head because it's good and bad, right? It's for the average coach, the 95% of the coaches. AI is fantastic for getting information fast through ChatGPT. But for your business purposes, no. Until you, like for my coaches, until you make 250 grand a year, you have no use for it. For your coaching business, for your admin and your accounting, well, now that could be important, but then I would take the money you have, hire a really good accountant that has AI, and you do it. But the whole AIification of the world is not what you offer that will make you a ton of money. It's the in-person human aspect of this. So your selling point is, it's not AI, it's me. I will help you. But that's why the price is higher, So the whole buy this subscription coaching thing, AI bots here and there, it doesn't work because people sign up and then they leave. But if you're a higher ticket coach who solves a bigger problem with in-person solutions, like that will never go out of style, if that makes sense. And everybody else is sprinting towards AI and away from it. I talked to one of the biggest owners of one of the swing apps, and hint, hint, blink, blink. And they're going away from this online swing lesson thing to being more of a hybrid company because they see the value in person and they see the drop off in customer retention with online. Getting a person from online and keeping them is almost impossible because you have no relationship. Getting a person from in person to then have online as an add-on or as a support, well, that's fantastic. So again, I can only speak from experience for what I know works. AI and technology will constantly change. Don't become the tech person. Your brand should be your name. You. Don't be, I am this person with this tech, because that tech can be obsolete or sort of debunked next year. And then you're known as this person. Be known as, I'm the really good coach who'll help you win. I have a bunch of tools at my disposal that I can use, but it's me. I'm the brand, That's what I would focus on. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Sure. No problem.
Hey, Christopher, Scott Riley again.
Hey, buddy.
Anthony and I are probably pretty similar, that we have teams and we're head golf professionals.
Nice.
What's your position on when you have a number of assistants and it's different than just having an individual teaching pro and creating that amongst, packages, whether it's for, they could take lessons with multiple staff members, or is it just to that individual? And how do you gear it? Is there an aspect of this towards a team component?
Yeah, good question. So I coach a few. So I do a couple of things. One is to help academy owners become more professional and become more successful and run teams. I used to have one of the most profitable department stores in the world with 19-year-old dudes who didn't know up from down. But it's all about to say that. So the same solution we had there is the same solution I suggest to all academy owners. You need structure from the entry point of the client. Otherwise, you have no way to making sure what you do works or you're improving. So if they work for you, it needs to be at the ground level of this, McDonald's, in lack of better English. So take Nick, for example. Let's pretend Nick worked for you. Nick is an amazing coach. He's written his own book. He has his own style. What Nick does still is level 1 of what he's doing is the shoot lower scores method or the assessment system. And then on top of that, he does his own flair to it. But for all of your coaches, all your academies, if they don't face the customer and say the same things and offer in the same way, it's almost impossible for you to have quality control. And for them to get better, because your face and brand and business hinges on the interactions they have with the members. And if John says one thing and offers packages this way, and Lisa says this thing and offer packages this way, like they'll be more confused than ever before. And they'll blame you for not being having things in order. So I would say for everyone that has a staff, you as the head professional need to make the McDonald's blueprint for what's the first entry point when the new golfer comes here. What words do we say? What do we offer? What's the first lesson? Is it an assessment that we offer? What system do we use? How do we offer our packages as level 1? Because now it doesn't matter who goes to who. You're in control of your business. Everything above that, after the first package is sold, then they can flare out and do whatever weird stuff they're into, right? But that will secure the finances for your business, and it will secure their professionalism. Plus, coaches can now trade. Oh, I have a lesson tomorrow, but I'm sick. Perfect. I'll take it because I know exactly what you're doing because you're doing what I'm doing. And now you can sharpen the axe. That's what we did. That's how we could have 19-year-old kids running a we made so much money, it was insane. And we had the highest customer retention in 3 years running in the most competitive market in the world. Because they all did the same thing. You want to come work for me? Perfect. This is the system you do it. When you reach this level, you can do whatever you want. But this, I know, will get you here.
And
does that make sense?
To me, as a side note, it has to be an egoless ecosystem of instructors. So I'm lucky that I'm a director of instruction here, but if someone wants to take a lesson from John Kellogg or John Arthur or Nick Comfort, I'm so cool with that because we talk all the time. So I think it is really like that McDonald's method. It has to be ground level. We do the same. We do a lot of the same stuff. That's the best way to do it. But yeah, it has to be egoless. If it's not egoless, it's not going to work.
Yeah. And the second thing is to make sure that they are alignment with that of what you believe in, this is what we offer, this is what we do, and this is how we do it. And the key thing to do if you have staff is you need to have a meeting with them and ask what their goals and dreams are for their life. Because then you have an easy way to know. You want to do this. Perfect. The best way to do this is to become profitable for the academy. Because if you become profitable for the academy, I have more resources to help you. And the way to get there is do the system we taught you. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank you. That's great stuff.
No problem. So I got the question before. So if anyone wants our help, just reach out to me, reach out to Nick. We have our coaching community for $95 a month. It's a golf lesson or so. You get all the levels of education, no gatekeeping, no nothing. We have a really cool community for people to do this. coaching from me, there's a few slots available too, but you'll find all the information on the website link. And if you have more questions to me, just find me on Instagram. The email will be here. Like, talk to Nick, because Nick can ask most questions from this too. I have a few more minutes if someone else wants have more questions.
The silence. I think from just as a side note, like Jason Bale has this quote, I've heard him say it a bunch of times, but your brand is a promise that what you do works. So to me, I really believe in that, like wholeheartedly. And I kind of believe that before I ever heard him say it. But I think that it's helped elevate my brand. Like, this is how the assessment goes. This is how I do things. This is how we operate. And the money just kind of has followed my branding. And I do the social media stuff as well, but I think I probably could do without it. But it's all an important piece as a coach. So just to make sure your brand is in a good place, try and keep consistent with what you're doing.
Yeah. And finally, I just wanted to give back. So anyone that signs up within 3 days gets a free book. But I'll leave you with this for lasting, all of you. Like, you have locked into this profession. You have no idea how lucky you are, because the amount of money that you even have the possibility as a solopreneur or academy owner to make a couple $100,000 a year, like, no profession can give you that in the pace that this could go in. Like, Kango couldn't make from 5K to 30K in any, like, it's just not doable, because you have the richest clients in the world and the most ambitious ones in the world. You've locked into golf as a profession. And I'm saying this to all of you to hopefully inspire you all to, like, you're so much closer to massive success than you think you are. And you don't need to take our help, but just set the bar a bit higher for yourself. Like, dream bigger than ever before, because it's proven that you can do it if you want to. And for all the naysayers and people like the doubters and the haters and all that stuff that will come about by doing new adventurous things, like, the way I look at it, at least, is they don't pay my bills, they don't feed my kids, they won't show up to my funeral, so who gives a shit? A bit over the line, but I don't care. I want you all to win, because you really can. And for the people that aren't the money hungry people, but the sort of impact people, if you make more money, you will have less clients, which means there's more clients left for everybody else, which you could then hire more people, get a bigger coaching staff, and give your coaching away. Because my belief is more people played golf to be less wars in the world. This is, in my opinion, in my world, that's a stone cold fact. They were too obsessed with the flex point of their hybrid shaft and why my bounce is the wrong way on my 60 degree than to problematize everything else, So I believe in all of you. And if no one else does, I do, at least. And I think you can achieve so much more than you think you can. Just try to be clear about what problem you're solving and what you're solving it with.
That was great, Chris. Thank you so much for your time this morning. I thought that was very informative and very unique.
Well, thank you. I thank you for inviting me. I appreciated it. And if anyone has any questions after this, reach out. I'll be more than happy to help. Or reach out to Nick.
Awesome.
Thanks, Chris.
Wonderful, guys. Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Have a wonderful day, team. Take care.
Nick,
Thank you, Chris.
setting this up.
No problem. Thank you so much, everybody.